right. Well, joining us now, individual who, when talking to potential partners in buying a sports franchise, once said, "We will be paid in parades." Am I right about that, Wyc Grousbeck?
I did. I realized I was kind of going out there and calling a shot. I mean, there was multiple parades, too. It was more than one, apparently.
Congratulations. I mean,
what was I thinking?
Well, when it comes to you and your desire to win championships and Brad Stevens and Joe Mazzulla and all the guys on this team, what a moment. You've delivered one. It's been 5 years, and this city now has its next championship.
Boston is, again, proven to be the city of champions, and I couldn't be prouder. As a born and raised, I couldn't be prouder to be a fan that, helped a little bit with this. But for all of us fans, it's what a day.
Wyc, for you in particular, watching Jaylen Brown win MVP, but then sharing all the credit with Jason Tatum, those two have been through so much together. You must be so proud.
Spectacular. I'm just happy for them. It's been 7 years that they've been together here. I got booed when I announced Jaylen got drafted. For everybody, so everybody that booed in the Garden that day, send him a nice note. Okay. And Jaylen and Jason came in the next year, and Danny brilliantly added those two guys, and then Brad added finishing pieces and huge pieces, and then those guys played together like one, SEAL team, one fighting force, and that's Joe Mazzulla put that in place, and it came from inside the guys. So, I mean, I couldn't be happier, A to Z, about everything that happened last night.
What time did you go to bed last night, if you did?
Yeah, it was after 4, but we're about to go jump on a plane and go party with the team at an off-site location, which is fun. So we're going to leave it wheels up at noon.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
and then back, and it's been confirmed the parade will be Friday.
Yeah, the parade's Friday. Hopefully we're back by then. Hopefully we don't just do a flyover.
The first air parade. Wyc, I'll say this as a longtime Green Teamer and being in this area, that the foundation of building a championship team has been laid, and obviously you and what Brad Stevens and obviously Mazzulla have been able to create. But you know how us fans are. We're so spoiled, and we're grateful for what you've done. But you have the great foundation of not only to see this great thing as you live in the moment, but the future looks very bright for you, brother.
Well, thank you. I think these guys, they're young, okay? Jaylen and Jason for sure. The older two guys on the team, KP's maybe 29 or something. Drew's now 33, but we re-signed him, and we love having him. Al is coming back for next year, so is what I've been told. So at age 38, which is unbelievable. And so, we've got some guys who are getting up there a little, but basically we're a young team. Most of our players are 30 or younger, and that is bad news for everybody else, hopefully.
That's great. It was so moving last night, seeing Al Horford win that championship finally, and the news that he will be back is excellent.
Yeah, ironically, we won that in 2008 over Al's team. The Hawks took us to 7 in the first round, so we were part of his drought. And now he came home to us. He loves it here. He and his family love it here. He couldn't be happier. We are all so happy.
And Al is such a representation of a team, not a collection of stars, that I think Brad and you were so key in building not just the right players, but the players that worked well together. That's
right. The guys wanted to make it work. That's the first part. They're brilliant. They think everything through, and they see the point. They took the coaching from Joe, and Joe said, look, there's no expectations. There's no of course we're going to win this game because we're favored by 10 or 15 or whatever. No, that's not the way it works. And I'm really happy for Joe. Joe took a lot of heat. Joe, Jason, and Jaylen have taken a lot of heat from a lot of people that if they were building a basketball team, I don't know if they'd win 10 games. So we'll turn that page, and we'll have our parade.
I know I wasn't sitting there at the time, but I just want you to know in the future, I have your back if anything happens with Luka.
I think he's a great competitor. You know, he barks at everybody. You watch any game of his when he's on the road, and after every shot, he turns and says something to somebody in the crowd. So I'm just honored to be on the list of thousands of people that he's barked at. It doesn't bother me.
Well, you're always somebody who looks at this organization as a sum of all parts, and I wonder, you know, credit. We've talked a lot about Brad Stevens maybe being the MVP here. No disrespect to Jaylen Brown, but what Brad did off-season wise, and you guys as a group is instrumental to the success. But do you credit Danny Ainge as well for kind of getting this
sure.
on the path?
I've just been texting with Danny last night and this morning, including about 5 minutes ago, and going back and forth. But you know, my words to him are thank you for putting this foundation in place, and you know, and for 2008 as well. But you had a lot to do with 2024, man, and that's exactly how I feel. And as far as Brad, I got hold of the game ball after the game, and I'm thinking, who am I giving this to? I'm not keeping it, right? And I'm like, it's Brad Stevens. So I gave it to Brad up on the podium and said, this is for you. And you're not re-gifting it to anybody else. This is your game ball. And he clutched that thing like, you know, Herschel Walker or something. So, he's like, I mean, I don't think anyone's really ever done that for him before. He's always a giver to everybody else. And he's got the game ball now from the NBA championship.
Well, Wyc, I think you brought up a good point. You talked about Jaylen Brown and what letters they need to send to him. And I think for somebody who's a diehard Tatum fan, you know, to have a player like that who's young, who kind of gets over the hump, and now he's another one of those players that you have basically as your foundation. Talk a little bit about just Jason Tatum and, you know, what this means for him and kind of that next level of, you know, Celtics great and NBA great player right now.
Yeah, I think it just relieves a huge burden that he might have felt. You know, he is so good. He's top 5 in the NBA. He's, you know, first team All NBA again this year. And that is a pressure or an expectation, and we're trying to block those out and just play basketball and all that. And he did brilliantly when he's rebounding and assisting and doing all the things he did throughout, you know, the 4 wins in this series. That's magical basketball. It's winning basketball, right? But he started making some shots last night. That was nice to see. I just think it just takes a lot of. I think he can fly higher now that he's got it. Got this championship. But I don't know how much higher you can fly than being NBA champs.
No.
Wyc, 16-3, speaking of how high you can fly in the playoffs and a remarkable regular season, I believe it's the most dominant team in the history of the Celtics. Would you agree?
I can't put this team in any historical context. I wasn't living in the area in 84 and 86, so I didn't see those teams with my own eyes. I think those may never be matched, you know, the 86 team. I don't know. All I can tell you is we're one of the 18 that put it up there. And I think there were only 3 that won it at home, and that's a great feeling to win it at home. So I'm just happy that we have, you know, I personally, you know, have 2 of them, part of 2 of them, and, you know, that's everything I wanted.
How many more do you want?
It's a big number. But let's just enjoy this one for now. It's spectacular, and I'll see everybody out there on Friday. I just can't wait. It's just so exciting.
I think it's going to be electric, as Courtney would say, on Friday, and enjoy yourselves at your secret destination and
Miami.
It is. It's out there that it's Miami.
Right.
I don't think it's.
Right. Well, yes, Miami. Yeah, Miami, Ohio. I don't know. It was cheaper.
Now, does everybody put the card up, or is that on you, Wyc? I mean, you've done so much. Do you have to pay for the whole trip too?
Well, this is. I have partners. Let's remember. So it's never just me. But no, we're not charging the players airfare. We're just going to go have a blast. You know what I found from 2008. This is a lifetime bond. Whenever I see anybody from 2008, it's like we, you know, just met yesterday again. You know, or we just were together, you know, a day before. And so that's the way it is with these guys. These guys are so closely knit. I had so much champagne poured at me last night by like every one of them. I'm like trying to reach up and pour it onto Porzingis' head as he's emptying a full magnum of champagne on my head. You know. So anyway, I won't be forgetting that, but I'll probably be vacationing in Latvia in 20 years for all I know. It's just that kind of thing.
Well,
it's so much fun.
Yeah, I would assume that there would be some bottles of Cincoro that would be shared.
They are loaded on the plane, and green ones and gold ones, and we're going to go take Miami with them. That's correct.
Awesome.
That's awesome. All right. Well, listen, you've always been great to us, so I really appreciate you taking the time this morning. Congratulations.
Well, you've been great to us as well at the Celtics, and to me, we're great friends. And thank you for everything, guys, and I'll see you Friday.
All right, Wyc.
Enjoy Ohio.
There you go.